Hi, guys. Welcome to Weekly Travel Updates. I'm Melinda Fargus, and I'm glad to have you here tonight. Well, there is lots of news. The biggest breaking news happened this afternoon. We have had a number of issues from the government, but after the Iranian bombs happened on Friday, a worldwide warning went out with threats to Americans. And just this afternoon, as you may have heard, the Iranians were able to hit our base in Qatar with very little damage, but it was hit. There has been just lots going on, but the big thing is that the Trump administration is considering expanding the number of countries that he is going to ban. And he has issued a State Department advisory to exercise increased caution globally and to make sure you check before you go and see what the government warnings are. Well, just our global travel warning. Here it is. The State Department advised Americans to increase caution globally. If you have a trip that you're considering, reach out to me or your travel professional and find out where these warnings are and if it affects you. It may or may not. Well, beside the global travel warnings, we've just gone through a weekend of continuous storms and tornadoes that were throughout Minnesota, North Dakota, and there were some lives lost. Storms last week caused thousands of cancellations for the airline industry, and including the Northeast corridor specifically. But here we are at 270 days after Helene, and these same storms caused a landslide that has reclosed I-40. So if you are going from North Carolina to Tennessee, you cannot use the main thoroughfare. It took months to reopen after Helene and one landslide, and it caused a huge mess this weekend. This week we see hundreds in the central states that are still looking at harsh weather. And, we go from storms to heat because now we are in triple digits all week. Be sure you stay hydrated. Be sure that you drink water. You limit your time outside. It has been a mess. And it's not just North Carolina. I just got off watching the New York Times news, and the MTA in New York today they have 27 lines, but this news broadcaster happened to follow this inspector, and he went into a subway today. It was 103 inside. It was 104 outside on the platform. Man, guys, that is serious. There are warnings all over New York and New England. Besides the heat, the weather, and where we are with Iran, I do want to share with you some reasons why it's important. to like work with us. Action travel. When it's time to travel, it makes sense to call an expert. Sometimes it is who you know. I had clients in Rome, and thankfully, because of taking several groups there in times past, we were able to make things happen that, I'm sorry, Expedia, Travelocity, most other agents just would not been able to make happen for you. Experience is more important than ever. One of the most unique offers that I have for my customers is that they don't travel without my personal cell phone. I'll never forget Susan Watson with the Women's Resource Center said, I don't go out of the country without Melinda's cell phone. And she had traveled halfway around the world to see her son. It was phenomenal to get to go to those faraway places, but it just has a sense of security if you take along my phone number with you. Book with local confidence. We just turned 37, good gracious, 35 years old. I dare you to compare. Go get your best rate, email me, and 9 out of 10 times we're going to give you the best deal. One other thing that we do that others do not do is when I book your cruise for you, I stick it in a cruise watch system. So I come off looking like the hero when I call you and say, hey, your cruise has gone down. How do I know that? Because I get those reports on a daily basis if there are changes in fares, changes in rates. And I am honored to pass those on to you. It makes me look more valuable to you. And that really is our goal. At a time when prices are going up, I put something together this week. Cruises are probably still the number one seller and probably the best value for your money as well. So I put together this flyer of how much do drink packages cost for an average 7-day cruise. You can see Norwegian is at $966. Now, to be fair, Norwegian usually throws in their beverages, so you don't ever pay that. You pay about $230 in gratuities for that $966. Celebrity Cruises is $763, while MSC Cruises is $686. Now, I'm telling you, their World America really is something I want to check out. And look at that difference in cost of beverages. That's pretty significant. Carnival is just a bit lower at $616. Princess is $595. And when we go to Alaska next year, it's likely going to be Princess. Oh, P.S. Drop in the notes if you have interest in going back to Alaska. It will be our 15th group trip. We feel like we have it pretty much down, and there are places that I take you off that beaten path that you won't get to go with anybody else. So let me know if that interests you. Okay, back to this. Cunard is $560. Holland American is even lower at $462. And Royal Caribbean can have a great span from $414 to just over $800. P&O Cruises is not a line that we would be so familiar with, but if you travel in Europe, 420 euros is the cost there. Costa, again in Europe, is 399 euros. Ambassador Cruise Line, a whole 357, but they're not going to be anything like our Western style cruises. Fred Olson and Marella, you guys won't travel on those. We have just too many other options that are more beneficial to us. Okay, back to the show. I have gotten into a lot of groups here lately. So I'm going to share with you some new group departures that we have. We have a February 14th sailing on the Carnival Freedom, and look at these prices. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm trying to expand this so I can see too. It's a beach lovers paradise cruise because it goes to 2 private islands in Nassau. And in that day in Nassau, just get off the ship, go to where you meet the road and walk 500 yards to your right, and you'll be right on the beach of what was, and it still may be, a Best Western, the Colonial. But you can walk right out there and enjoy their beach. The next 2 days, you are in their private islands, which is nothing but a great beach day. Now, make sure you go pick up a snorkel and a mask. You don't really need fins, but a snorkel and mask will save you big bucks on this departure. And at less than $600 per person, I think that is a sweetheart of a deal. Okay, I'm putting together some group sailings for friends of mine. And this sailing was their first choice. It leaves out of Tampa again on the 14th of February, and it goes to Puerto Costa Maya, Mexico, and Cozumel. So 2 very cool Mexican ports of call, and the interior price with port and government fees is at $488. That is a heck of a deal. It's on the Royal Caribbean Enchantment of the Seas. And if you'd like any of these flyers, if you will shoot me a message, let's see, here is my email at the bottom. If you'll shoot me a message, then I'd be happy to forward it over to you. Well, we thought we had it set that this is the cruise they were going to do. And then I said, this particular group will be mainly interior and ocean view cabins. Very few balconies. So I said, we could do a 7-night sailing for almost the same price. You could do 7 nights, still leaving on the 14th. And we are $597 for 3 more nights. That is a terrific deal. Now, this one is on Grandeur of the Seas with Royal Caribbean, and it is doing Western Caribbean, Costa Maya, Mexico, Belize City, Belize. That's what sold this one was. He really wanted to go to Belize. Roatan, Honduras, Cozumel, and then back to Tampa. And the airfares that we found to Tampa with a 1-night stay, you're looking at $347 a person airfare and a 1-night hotel. Hey, that's a heck of a deal. A sweetheart of a deal, if you allow the pun, since it is on February 14th. Okay. Let's see. What else do I want to share? I want to share with you. This is my QR code for a new channel that I have that I'm going to put all kinds of shortcuts, spreadsheets, things that will assist you in learning AI. It's not that difficult. But I just started this and I wanted to share it with you. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Stay blessed, be vigilant, be careful. The ceasefire, the way it's going to work is after Iran has ceased fire for 12 hours, then Israel agrees to cease fire. So that's where we're at right now. Thank you for watching tonight. Pray for Israel. And until next time, remember, without a travel agent, you are on your own. Ciao, guys. Have a good evening.